Welcome to the PLL on ESPN, presented by Better Mortgage. From the shadow of Philadelphia, it's week 3 of the Premier Lacrosse League, and we come to the campus of Villanova University. A bit of a combustible cocktail this afternoon. The Philadelphia Waterdogs meet the Boston Cannons. There's some history, there's some bad blood, and at the heart of it, it's Philly and it's Boston. Good afternoon, happy Father's Day weekend. Anish, Shroff, Quint, Kessenich, Ryan Boyle, Dana Boyle is down on the sideline, and cue the backstory here. It travels to the present day. There could be some bad blood and some heated confrontations out there.
You sense in the coals and the embers of this rivalry that this game could get heated. You think about the Waterdogs, they've been a top-tier team. The Boston Cannons want to be that championship team. And when they met last winter, it was fireworks.
Yeah, Michael Sowers, he's going to be thinking about some retribution. Knocked out in the first 2 minutes of that championship series.
The Cannons at the face-off X will go with Zach Tucci. Philadelphia taking the Jeff Fiegels approach at the face-off X. They're not dressing a face-off man, essentially punting on face-offs, yet they win the first one. Zach Currier took the draw, and it's Ryland Reese off the ground. The Waterdogs will go to work first. These two teams last met in the final of the championship series. It's the Olympic Sixes format that they played in February over in Springfield, Virginia. Cannons won in overtime. Sowers was knocked out early in that game. Working on Bryce Young, turns the corner. Vengeance is mine, I will repay.
I love the early initiative. Get the ball to Sowers and let him get into the flow of the game. Let him get super aggressive. Start to play to the hometown crowd a bit. You're going to see the speed on display. Just a little hesitation directly behind the cage, and then he just puts on the afterburners, Quint.
Good point for the Waterdogs here is the off-ball cuts really made it impossible for Boston to send an early double there. And so these early possessions, you're usually trying to gauge, hey, what's the opponent's slide mentality? Well, the Waterdogs cut and move off ball, drawing the eyes of those defenders, giving Sowers all sorts of real estate, and that was way too easy, Anish.
Too easy. Currier had it for a moment, lost it. Tucci comes up with it. And the Cannons will work on offense for the first time today.
He's not out of it yet.
Currier stays on, jars it loose from Goodrich, and the Waterdogs able to win it back.
And that's exactly what I was talking about in the open. The Currier facing off and then leaving the field. You lose those in between the lines type of plays. That's where he excels, in that gray matter.
There's Connor Kelly, checked by Bubba Fairman. Kelly shot, saved. That's an easy one for Colin Kirst.
Gonna be an interference call. Kind of an aggressive outlet pass from Kirst. Always good to get your first touch as a goalkeeper, and a clean one.
Cannon still without a real offensive possession. Ryan Conrad for 2. Here we go. It skips wide. Sowers has the backup. Bryce Young goes out to greet him. Sowers wants space. Sowers looking to get top side, dumps it off to Conrad. Kieran McCardle, picked up by Garrett Epple, reigning PLL Defender of the Year. Skip pass to Ethan Walker. Kelly's a threat from the outside. Kirst gobbles this one up, his second save.
A little surprised McCardle gave that up so quickly after getting the switch that he wanted onto the short stick. They designed that action for him on that wing, and then he just decided to direct it to the other side of the field.
Here's Matt Cavanaugh. He had the game-winning goal in the championship series final back in February. Older brother of rookie Pat, that one off the crossbar. And Matt Cavanaugh now just 1 for 10 shooting here in the early part of the season. His brother Pat, who's been running out of the midfield. And we get a whistle. They didn't reset the shot clock. It will now reset to 32. Quint, what do you make of the Cannons using Kavanaugh, Pat, out of the midfield to begin his career?
I think it's a short-term issue right now. I think ultimately he'll be starting at that attack spot. I just think Brian Holman's giving Matt Kavanaugh, his older brother, an opportunity here. Remember, Kavanaugh had a slow start last season, really picked it up in the middle and late stages of the year. The good news is 51 in white right now. Pat Kavanaugh, positionally versatile.
We saw that throughout his college career. Here's Asher Nolting. Loves to post up. That size gives him the vision. No angle. And clamping down in cage is Matt DeLuca.
That's well defended there, and when you plug in the tape of Asher Nolting, he's got some strong tendencies that emerge. He likes the question mark when he dodges up left-handed to set up his right-handed shot, and he loves the inside roll on the far side of the field. He wants to do everything with his right hand.
Sowers has the matchup here. They got Kavanaugh trapped on defense. Feed to the wing, too high. Sowers the backup. Excuse me, Dylan Ward getting the start and goal for Philly. Former Team Canada goalie. Here's Caraway. Feed inside, Sowers slithering through. And in the crease, that belongs to Boston.
It's a nice recovery defensively, because for a moment there, they looked like they were spread out, and all of a sudden there was a vacancy on the inside.
Yeah, I thought Brandout gave up on that dodge a little too quickly. If you've got Pat Kavanaugh trapped on defense, you need to get a little bit more juice out of your dodge.
We're good, Eli.
Here's Connor Kirst. Now Matt Kavanaugh. Do they go after Hudgens, who's making his first career start, his pro debut?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
He's extremely mobile, great feet.
First against Witcher, gives it up. Now Nolting, sprinting around X. Good defense. Nice job there by Ben Randall. Three-time All-Star as a pro.
And Quint, I'd love to get your opinion on this. We've seen Dylan Ward play that in two different ways. The previous question mark by Nolting, he hugged that pipe, very disciplined. On that one, you saw him come out
encroach.
of the, he came out of the cage to cut down on the angle.
If it's a mid-range, he'll generally come out to the top of the crease, like a hockey goalie, hoping to get hit.
Holman plays it up top. Matt Campbell, familiar footing for him. He's a former Villanova Wildcat and an all-star as a PLL rookie last year.
And Bill Tierney told me, Waterdogs coach, keep your eyes on 20 in white, Campbell, because he's a Villanova alum playing on his home field. He expected him to be really aggressive early in this game.
Hudgens tasked with guarding Holman, the reigning PLL attackman of the year. Shot clock inside of 10. Now Nolting using that big frame. His pass gets away from Campbell. Shot clock violation. Campbell leaves it alone, avoids the delay of game. Witcher quickly ahead, unforced error. Rare mistake by Sowers. It goes back to the Cannons.
Strong start by Waterdogs defensively. The Hudgens insertion in the lineup just brings a level of athleticism there.
Like, he was going to cover Pat Kavanaugh. The Waterdogs really felt that Pat was going to start at attack, and yesterday at practice, Coach Tierney saying, we want Marcus Hudgens on Pat Kavanaugh whenever we can get that matchup.
Nolting, feet in front. Holman is there. The goal is good. That's becoming quite the refrain over these last few years.
These guys have that sixth sense. The understanding of player to player, the nonverbal communication.
Yeah, beautiful little spot feed here by Nolting off the slip pick. Holman acts like he's gonna set that pick along goal line extended. See you later, slips to the crease and buries it. We've got a tie ball game early. And then throughout the week, checking in, watching film together. What are you seeing? How are you working out? It's constant communication just to build that chemistry off the field, and then this weekend is all in, fully immersive.
Pat Kavanaugh wheels down the alley, picked up by Scarpello.
It's a good matchup for Kavanaugh.
Randall looked like he was hedging. Now Kavanaugh will use the Nolting pick. Turns the corner, nothing there.
Nolting has the matchup superiority.
Snaking inside, but denied.
So Nolting sets a pick there, and it changes the matchup, which doesn't help Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's got to realize that and throw the ball back to Asher Nolting, who's being covered by Scarpello.
Exactly. Scarpello did a good job pushing out.
Courier, that's a long one. And the Cannons take a 2-1 lead. The Princeton connection, Sowers to Courier.
But already, Anish, we've called Courier's name more in the first quarter than we did all of week 1. You can see him in transition, these kind of scramble play. People are still substituting behind the action. This little pick and throwback to Courier, there's just no recovery, no rotation by Boston defensively, allowing Courier just to step and let him rip it.
Defensively, you've got to call numbers, mark up, get out, and play defenders. Work that out, and you see Courier last week was taking faceoffs, but he'd sub off the field immediately, so he just wasn't part of the lacrosse game. He was like a designated face-off loser.
And like, you lose Courier between the arcs, and that's where he thrives.
DFL?
He was. He lost every face-off except for, what, 1 or 2 out of 24. And then he run off the field. It's like he didn't even play. It's like he was doing shuttle sprints.
You've brought in new terminology. We had FOGO, face-off, get-off. Now we have DFL, designated face-off loser.
Get up, Quint.
Courier did face off at Princeton. It's Da Vinci and cleats right off Mercer Street. Here comes Pat Kavanaugh. Checked by Liam Burns, one of the best takeaway artists in the PLL. Now a short stick matchup with Jake Richard, recently named Marquette head coach. Feed to Brenner, shoots it too high with the shot clock winding down.
Great closeout there by Witcher, 33 in purple. He is one of the strongest two-way midfielders, an offensive midfielder at York, plays short stick defensive midfielder in the PLL, but he can go 2 ways.
Division III York College, about 2 hours west of Philly. Sowers has had a hand in both Waterdog goals. Scored the first one, assisted to Courier. Philadelphia had the bye last week. Did not play in Charlotte. Lost the opener by a goal to the Archers. Cannons at 1-1. Lost to the Atlas in week 1. Beat the Whipsnakes with a big second half last week. And we get a flag with Kelly crashing into the crease.
Assertive move draws penalties. When you push to the paint, when you push to pay dirt, you're generally going to be fouled.
Cannons foul number 41. 1 minute cross check. That play is under review.
And they're going to look to see if this was a high hit.
There's a level change. Kelly is not standing. He's at an angle. And this hit does ride up. And maybe initially hit him in the chest, but it does roll up his chin and his face mask and his head.
Yeah, I mean, that's directly to the head. It's tough as a defender.
Very difficult.
Yes. It's really tough.
The level is changing. We see it in college football. We see it in the NFL all the time.
When a receiver or a running back or a quarterback, when they lower their head at the last minute and they duck, there's nothing you can do as a defender.
You've got to match levels defensively, and it's very, very difficult because you've already kind of put yourself on a certain trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young is not a dirty player.
No.
This hit is intended right for Kelly's chest.
Correct. And then his head becomes his chest. Now, if they deem this to be a high hit with malice, what are we looking at here? We're looking at 2 minutes?
After review, cross check on 41. To the head, 1 minute, full-time serve.
Yeah, so they're going to escalate it to a full-time served. So if the Waterdogs are able to score on this power play, Young will stay in the penalty box.
You know, and we talked about the fireworks between these two teams. That was a lacrosse play. And I think all the players on the field recognize that as a lacrosse. That wasn't cheap, it wasn't dirty.
Now, what happened to Michael Sowers in the beginning of the Champ Series, that was a cheap shot. Sowers. Inside, Kelly, the slam dunk. Great feed through that Boston Cannons palisade, and it's 3-1.
Third power play goal of the season for Connor Kelly. I think it was McConvey on the assist. Big lefty, able to see through the defense.
I think it's McCardle.
Oh, McCardle,
yeah.
the lefty. Just a great look. He kind of put it to space.
You can see the manipulation, his helmet, and all of his body language and vision is looking upfield, upfield, upfield. That no look, that's what freezes that backside defender, number 14, Goodrich, freeing up that skip lane.
And again, with the full-time serve down that penalty, the Waterdogs have a 3-on-2 advantage at the face-off X. And Quint, here is where you're hurt by not having a true face-off guy. We know Courier can do it. Tucci wins it. That's a missed opportunity. Tucci the other way. Short-handed goal, and it's 3-2. You don't want to dress a face-off guy. Okay. You miss an opportunity and you open the door for the other team.
And not only just the face-off loss, but to make matters worse, to give up a short-handed goal. Tucci pinch pop as he goes forward. Why not?
Seamless scoop. I thought it might have been a one-handed save by Dylan Ward, but look at Tucci. That ball's in his pocket in less than a second. And the offside bouncer finds net. Brian Abbott, the official's right on that goal line extended. He had a great view.
Does this make Bill Tierney rethink face-offs a little bit?
Well, yes, is the short answer in my estimation.
Courier's got to do a better job of tying this up and giving them the 3-on-2 advantage that they have. That's just, the ball's out too fast.
It's just a lot to ask of Courier, though. He's not a face-off specialist. He can face off.
Out of the Tempest, it's Ryland Reese. And he turns it away. Let's check in with Dana Boyle.
I had a chance to talk to Coach Brian Holman before the game, and he said, we made a deliberate decision in year 2 at the helm of the Cannons to dress a face-off guy. He said after week 1 when they beat the Whipsnakes, he never thought he would say it, but he said, we won a game with a face-off guy. Last year they elected to not have a face-off specialist, and he said it did them well. They wanted to be more versatile, wanted it to be harder for teams to scout them, and that's what Tucci brings to this Cannons team.
Drenner up top to Campbell. From the Waterdogs' perspective, let's say you had a competent, true face-off man in that spot. Let's see what Matt Cavanaugh does here. Sneaks it past DeLuca. It's 3-3. Think of how the pendulum has shifted. You had a full releasable, non-releasable, full-time serve power play. You get a quick goal. You've got a chance, again, if you can win the next possession, to maybe score 2-3 times. Instead, you give the momentum right back to Boston, tie game.
And here you just see a poor approach angle by the rookie Hudgens, just over-aggressive. That puts him in trouble, and then Cavanaugh goes underneath and finds some space on that near pipe. But Anish, back to your point, just to build on that, the biggest thing of the faceoff is the rule change. So this year, you are not allowed to dress a long pole. You're not allowed to have a long pole face-off. And so what that's enabled to do is free up the face-off specialist post-win to either go right to the cage, or it's an easier outlet to one of your offensive teammates on the perimeter.
And again, that situation's not going to play out a whole lot, but non-releasable power play, you miss a golden opportunity to add on to your lead because you don't have a face-off man. Tied at 3, Matt Cavanaugh over to Campbell. It's his homecoming. The former Villanova Wildcat. Now Verdaro, the rookie. This is wide. Knowlton has the backup, but that one.
I'll tell you, Verdaro,
a piece, I think, of Ward.
Verdaro is spicy. Good things are happening when the ball's in his cross. He's really quick, and he's a dual threat shooter or passer off the dodge.
How excited was he when he scored his first career goal last week? Something Ryan Boyle does not remember.
He told us it was 20 years in the making. He's been waiting that long to get his first career pro goal. Pretty cool.
For Ryan, it's been about 20 years,
That's right?
Knowlton, and he turns it over.
Good defense by Randall, being strong on the corner. Ben Randall out of Ohio State. Last week he had to cover Connor Fields, who's kind of a snake. This week he's got to cover Asher Knowlton, who's kind of a rhinoceros.
30 seconds to go.
Third unforced turnover in this quarter by the Waterdogs.
Cannons with a chance to take their first lead. Pat Cavanaugh, defended by Eli Gobrecht. The Ithaca bomber. Holman sets the pick. Illegal pick. Oh, he was in the crease. 7 turnovers now. Final 5 seconds. Chance here, Kelly from long range. Quarter number 1 comes to an end. Issue for the Cannons in that opening quarter, turnovers, 8 TOs. Tucci and Courier, and Tucci wins another faceoff. Accelerates ahead, shovels it back.
I'd rather see Tucci just shoot that. Shoot for a corner, either it's a goal or it goes out of bounds and you can substitute behind the play.
He's won 7 of 8 faceoffs.
And 7 in a row. Here's Kirst. Sweeps to the middle. Reese defending Kirst. Kirst over to Campbell. Now comes back to Nolting. Right inside, and it's taken away.
Shot clock violation. So at what point do you start putting offensive personnel on the wings if you're Cannons with Tucci dominating at the stripe?
They had a long pole on the far wing for that last faceoff. It boggles my mind that these coaches continue to do that when you've won 7 out of 8.
2 shorties, let them roll. Here's Ethan Walker, checked by Cade Van Raphorst. Now Courier, he's got a goal today. Plenty of time to shoot. Courier matched up with Goodrich. This is Sowers. He's got a matchup now against Trainer. Sowers working on the short stick. Has that great first step. Skip pass up top. Kelly whips it wide. McCardle, the backup for to shoot.
Dylan Sheridan, offensive coach, told me they would be hunting 2s more aggressively. They only took 4 2-pointers in their week 1 game. Transition and 2s, it's part of the Waterdogs DNA. It's one thing they did exceptionally well last summer.
And we didn't see a lot of it in week 1, primarily just because they weren't able to get enough stops, especially in the first half against Archers. But you think of their short sticks, Witcher, he could push the ball in transition. Richard, ditto.
Trenner coming out of the box. Guarded by Witcher. Now Matt Cavanaugh against the rookie Hudgens in his pro debut. Cavanaugh now picked up by Witcher on the switch. Snaking near the crease. Tries to play it up top to Drenner. Hudgens diving for it. Shot clock down to 15. Drenner can't find it. Now he does. Randall denying Nolting. Looking for the crease feed. Cavanaugh takes a hit, ends up in the crease. Could have been a loose ball push.
Could have been a play on too. I like what Randall did there, late shot clock, pushing out on Nolting towards the end line, eliminating that outlet, eliminating Nolting's ability to even get the ball to initiate.
Here's Ethan Walker, who played for Bill Tierney at Denver. .36 in purple, the rookie out of Yale, Matt Brandow. Now McCardle. Played on Team USA last summer. Shoots high, and he beats Kirst upstairs.
McCardle's patience on this dodge is really what impresses me most. He gets the matchup he wants and just kind of goes back and forth. That little pump fake kind of freezes the defense off ball, enabling him enough airspace to then get to his spot and unleash one high.
The shot has a little bit of deception on it You see Kirst's stick just hiccups just a tad down low. He's thinking right hand, overhand, and that McCardle's gonna yank that down to his knees or his feet, and he just drops his hands just a tad. And McCardle, the veteran out of Lake Ronkonkoma, stings the corner.
So after a quiet week 1, you got Sowers with 2 points and McCardle with 2 points. They've been involved in all 4 of the Waterdogs goals.
He's a great story, McCardle. He's a guy who initially out of college, out of St. John's.
Ward sprawling to go get that one.
A little bit unheralded, eventually made Team USA. He's become a star in this league. Nothing's been given to him.
Courier against Campbell. Courier thought about it. Dumps it behind the cage. Up top, Kelly. Goodrich not backing down. Kelly against Young, who lost his stick. Doorstep feed McCardle, and in the crease. Following our game here on ABC, we have the Stanley Cup final tonight, 8 Eastern. Panthers and Oilers, the Florida Panthers with a chance to win the Stanley Cup, up 3-0 in that series against Edmonton.
Quint, I'm a little surprised Kelly didn't shoot that from range, given the directive of Dylan Sheridan.
I thought he did a nice job, Ryan, using that 2-point arc as a threat to give him the dodge option. So when you establish yourself at the perimeter, and I was talking to Brian Holman about this earlier, like defenders have to know to defend the arc. I thought Kelly did a good job setting himself up as to bluff the 2-pointer to open up the look. They missed a slam dunk down low.
Pat Cavanaugh against Witcher. Cavanaugh, the Tewaaraton Award winner, almost found his brother Matt.
It's a nice stick and blocked that shot. It's a good
Shot
look.
clock reset to 32.
Yeah, they're going to call that off because Hudgens.
I thought it hit the defender. So
Yeah,
that's the case that Dylan Ward is making.
Actually, I think not Hudgens. This hit Richard in the back.
Yeah, this did not hit the goal or the goalie.
They are challenging the shot clock reset.
And they're going to win it. This is clearly off of Richard's back.
Yep.
Left shoulder.
Dylan Ward signaled immediately. He said, hey, that's not a shot clock reset. The shot clock resets if it hits the goalie or if it hits the pipe.
Watch Ward on this. It's amazing. He can go down to a knee and still fill up the whole net. What a luxury when you're 6'3", 6'4".
42% in week 1.
6'5".
6'5". He gets better as the summer heats up. He's making that transition from the indoor game to the outdoor game. Tony Seaman, former Denver Outlaw coach, was texting me during week 1, mentioning that Ward gets better as the summer progresses.
He even got better as that game progressed. He had a rough start. But he's so unflappable.
Former MVP of the World Games in 2014.
After review, the shot hit a defender inside the crease, which causes a reset. 32 seconds.
In the crease.
Ah, there you go.
Causes a reset. Even the trajectory of the ball is not an issue there. That's an automatic.
You don't see it often.
No, Richard's like, I was just standing there.
You could hear the chorus from Bill Tierney. He and Palin will make a nice subplot this season.
Good job, the officials, knowing that level of nuance of the rules. I'm immediately calling off the reset.
Holman through the contact.
Yeah, he's being shorted throughout a lot of this first half.
Holman gets free from Richard. Bounce shot, flag down. That was with the shot clock winding down.
Bill Tierney told me he was going to put a short stick on Marcus Holman, and it's made Holman into a Dodger here.
Number 27, 30-second technical hold.
It will be a Boston power play. Cannons looking to get back to even. 5:45 to go first half.
An amazing game. I think they each had around 9 or 10 points. Boyle's contribution in 2004, that was a bad team, okay? They were like 0-5, and I was throwing them under the bus. They signed Boyle out of Princeton.
Shocker.
Next thing you know, they make a run to the playoffs. They're 7-5, 2 wins, champions. I'll never forget Nicky Polanco turning to me, "Hey, Quint, how's this look now?" Sal Lacasio, the head coach.
Yep. Lacasio, the head coach.
Doug Shanahan, great player on that team.
Campbell with a rocket, that's a 2. A welcome home, Matt Campbell.
He's legit. I mean, this guy's got a righty dodging game, a lefty dodging game, and here you see his range.
Can absolute bring it from distance. This is his second 2-pointer of the year. You just got to be mindful of where he is. Heads up by Marcus Holman, setting a little brush screen there. You can see Scarpello trying to fight through it.
That's a great set piece off the timeout. You'll get to see it from net cam. Ward tracks it, but a dead center shot is really advantageous for that shooter. The goal is a full 6x6. Campbell got the crow hop. He got the full body rotation into it. A great play off the timeout.
It is the first lead of the game for the Boston Cannons. The 2-pointer by Campbell. Now Tucci wins the face-off. Fires on the run. Now, you guys mentioned you wanted to see that. You've got the backup with Nolting. Let's go down to Dana, who's got Matt Campbell.
Matt, you're showing off your range. How does it feel to get a 2-pointer in the hometown?
It's awesome. I mean, playing back here, it's amazing. Different team, but same feeling. So much energy in the stadium. Go Cats, love Villanova.
You've captured some momentum. What's been the difference here in the second quarter?
I think we're starting to move the ball. Defensively, they're pressing out. So it means we got to work harder on the perimeter, and we're doing that. So.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Cannons turn it over, and Campbell, to Dana's point, 154 goals playing for Villanova.
Watch Courier in transition here.
He wants it.
Yeah, he's hovering.
If they had spun it back to him, he had a little 2-on-1 with McCardle against Eppel. But back to that previous Cannons possession. Again, Holman's got the short stick. That's the action I expect out of him. He's going to take that short stick to Nolting. He's going to try to create mismatches elsewhere.
Off the spin cycle, Walker. Spins back around, low shot, save Kirst.
Terrific hands, and then the rebound control from Kirst.
Outlet to Craig Chick. Now Holman this time, he's got a pole.
They got numbers here off the sub game.
Pat Cavanaugh stepped down on the run, missed the cage. Nolting, who's got 2 helpers with the backup. Nolting against Ben Randall. Has the 2-man game with Drenner if he wanted it. Nolting posting up. There's the question mark with the answer.
He's just too big. He's too strong. He's too physical. He's going to get to his spots. I mean, you have to start denying him before goal line extended. You can see Randall. I mean, Randall's a big, strong defender. One of the best one-on-one covers in the league. But he just gives too much of that left side to Nolting, who just kind of casually walks up, gets to his spot, pivots and buries it.
2 things. He gets to the 5x5. You see the football hash marks along with that 5 line? That is your destination if you're an attacker. Second thing is size. He is listed at 210 pounds. I don't know who came up with that, but let me tell you, that man is borderline 250, and he's a power forward with a 2-set go. He got great touch in terms of being a feeder, or he can just turn and hammer that home. That equates to the fadeaway hook in basketball. Unstoppable.
If you were going to create a basketball team out of the PLL, Nolting is a top 3 pick, and you throw him down in the post as an undersized 4, just play through him. That's Brandow. Kick save Kirst. Apple off the ground. Now Trainer.
Watch Van Raphorst.
There's Cade for 2. Nolting has the backup. Week 3 of the PLL season continues tomorrow right here in Philly. They missed a cutting trainer. That's going to be over and back. At 12:30 Eastern tomorrow on ABC, Redwoods and the Atlas, who are 3-0. All PLL games can also be seen on ESPN+. Atlas through the early part of the season. I know it's 2 weeks. It's a very small sample size, but Ryan, they look like the team to beat.
3-0. Baptiste at the face-off stripe. Teat lighting it up in attack, and that attack unit between Teat on the left side, Schellenberger on the right, and Dixon inside. And then you add the horses in the midfield. Dox, Aiken. They are a load.
Aiken grew up right up the street here in Philadelphia. He'll have a big family rooting section. I expect him to showcase his great dodging ability.
He had a half cup of coffee with Villanova too. Was on their football team in 2020. There was no season because of COVID, however. We come up on 90 seconds to play. First quarter, Cannons have had the momentum after Philadelphia jumped out to a 3-1 lead. Timeout by Brian Holman. Will step aside.
Treating different people differently. You know, the attention to detail, the understanding that practices are actually harder than the games themselves. Like when you got to a game, it was like, well, this is easy.
And Q, I know you played for Coach Tierney when he was an assistant at Hopkins.
1 year, what stands out is his connection as an assistant coach. Again, that's going to be different than a head coach, but his ability to create individual connections. I spent a lot of time up in his office talking about things, academics, family life, social life, the holistic package, Bill Tierney.
McCardle from the wing, loaded high and a little too high. I heard you and Seth Tierney spent a lot of time in coaches' offices while you were in school.
You know, that call, that call or that mention in a meeting, hey, see me in my office. Coach wants to see you in his office. Does that still get your heart racing, Boyle?
Yeah, I was trying to sneak by his office to get to the offensive coordinator, Dave Metzbauer's office.
It's never good. Like once in your lifetime, it'll be good.
Yeah, I heard you guys were repeat offenders. McCardle over to Walker. Steps into it, Kirst, read it all the way. Now the outlet to Eppel. 30 seconds to go. Cannons with the momentum. Campbell hesitates. Chick had the feed. That ball was out of bounds on the Cannons. Matt Cavanaugh tried to sell that it was deflected out by the Waterdogs.
One chance here now. Manage clock and score if you're the Waterdogs.
And if you're Nolting, you got to demand that ball from Chick. He's got to be the one making that decision, not Chick.
Final few seconds. Here's Sowers from long distance. That's a 1. Michael Sowers with a 3-point first half. Philly area native. He's got a big cheering section that came to Villanova today, and it makes it 6-5.
On first look, this to me feels like it's out of his area code, out of his distance.
I think this is one of the underrated parts of Sowers' game. You think of his shiftiness, his quickness. He has range. He has range not only with his right hand, but with his left as well. I mean, to be the complete package, we don't see it that often because he doesn't really need to, but he has this in his bag.
That can't be in the scouting report.
Well, you're worried about so many other things that if he does this, you're like, tip your cap. You're like fine. If you're gonna score that way, okay.
Allen Iverson with a lacrosse stick for fans in Philadelphia.
.1 seconds to go. Tucci the faceoff. Trying to cyclone away from Richard. Puts it in. It's good! Tucci puts up the equivalent of a Hail Mary, and I'm not sure DeLuca ever saw it. I thought for sure he released that ball before the clock hit 0.
He did. The question is, was it deflected inside by a defensive player?
It's a 2 if it stands.
if it was deflected by his teammate, then it could they could overturn this. It can hit a defensive player. If it hits an offensive player, the play is dead. But I think it's a clean goal just with a screen.
Clearly off before
Effective screen.
the clock expires.
Is Marcus Holman in front? Look at him park himself in front.
I don't think that hits Holman. I think that's a goal.
No, Holman sets the screen, acts like he's going to deflect it, and then moves his stick at the last second there.
It looked like Holman got in the way of the goalie, and it's a 2-point goal for Tucci. 3 goals, 3 points for Tucci in the first half. At Villanova University. It's been a hot topic in the pro league. Do you address a face-off guy? Do you not? What's the value of it? Well, the value of having a face-off guy has been the difference in the game so far.
Unequivocally, Tucci's got 3 points. You look at last year to this year, the rule change, the elimination of the long pole at the face-off. Those are real possessions. And we saw Boston, after not dressing a face-off guy, they learned their lesson. They played Tucci, they won a game, and now he's the difference in the first half.
Q for the Waterdogs, Michael Sowers, hometown kid. Pretty good first half.
He got off to a great start with the ISO, turning the corner, taking that extra step to greatness. Local product from Upper Dresser, PA. Played football and lacrosse growing up, and then he stings the outside shot. Campbell for Boston with a 2. So the Cannons have 2 2s. Tucci's Hail Mary right before the buzzer, and the Campbell shot, plus you throw in the shorthanded goal. It's kind of a bizarre offensive game for the Cannons.
Yeah, Tucci's 3 points, 1 right off the faceoff. Here's the Hail Mary at the end of the half. The previous one, that was also like a 2 to 3 goal swing. That was a shorthanded goal on a non-releasable penalty. Waterdogs could have gone on a run there. Tucci eliminated it.
10-2 face-off advantage for Boston. Cannons have connected on a pair of 2-pointers. Asher Nolting, a couple of assists to go along with a goal for Boston. Second half about to get underway. Cannons lead 8-5.
Zach Tucci becomes a primary storyline in this game. This is a young man who grew up in New Hampshire. He went to Avon Old Farms. He played collegiately at North Carolina. Last year, I believe he played in 1 game in the Premier Lacrosse League. Unsuccessfully sent into the player pool.
For these Waterdogs, that was really the moment at which point they were like, well, if we're going to only have this kind of performance, we might as well not dress a guy at all.
Ready to go here. Ready to go, Huggy.
Pat Cavanaugh, the Tewaaraton Award winner, rookie out of Notre Dame, where he was a 2-time national champion. Now Bubba Fairman, former Terrapin, his shot deflected away. Scarpello catches it off the grass. Scarpello the other way. They got a trailer, they wanted Courier. That pass is going to result in an over and back. Cannons will trigger off the quick restart.
They got numbers if they push it.
Rawl wanted it, he had a 2. Holman.
Good recovery by the Waterdogs.
Shaded by Randall. Former Tar Heel against former Buckeye. Here comes Matt Cavanaugh. Has some space in the middle. Now spun back. Campbell played his college lacrosse right here at Villanova. Nolting with 3 points in the half. Looking for the cutter. Holman diving in. He's in the crease. No goal. Flag down as he contacted Dylan Ward. And do we get a push?
44, 30-second technical, push.
A lot going on here. A lot to digest here. You've got a crease violation with that right foot's going to go into the crease. But prior to that, you're going to see a little push by the defender in purple.
And it's a little one. It's not a huge hit.
His foot's definitely in the crease. That's the easy part of the call. Right there is the push. You see the extension, Ryan, the extension of the arms.
Yeah, it just looked like Holman was going to go barreling in the crease, whether Randall nudged him or not.
Well, he's entitled to go flying through the crease. There's nothing illegal about that.
Yep. Power play opportunity. Campbell a threat from 2, as is Holman. That's a takeaway, Ryland Reese. The Canadian lost it. $15 turnovers already for Boston. And now we're back to even strength.
I'd like to see the Waterdogs get their midfield offense cooking.
Who does that start with?
Connor Kelly, Ryan Conrad, we haven't called his name the whole game.
Kelly's pass knocked down.
No, Kelly has really got to be the guy.
McConvey.
Another turnover. Burns to Sowers. Up top, here's Kelly, shot deflected. Holman got in there late to alter.
What incredible hustle there by Holman, getting back in transition. That shot was 100% going to be on cage and probably a goal from that range.
Right to left in your screen there. Look at him chase that down. Unbelievable play.
Courier spins it back to Sowers. Bryce Young marks him. Here's Ryan Conrad against the short stick trainer. Conrad bullies his way toward the cage, lands in the crease.
Low percentage shot, not much angle, low to low release, an easy trajectory for Kirst. Well defended.
Kirst is really seeing the ball well today. 6 saves at halftime.
Ziggy Zaggy from Matt Cavanaugh. Over to brother Pat. Pat Cavanaugh handles down the alley, trail check Burns. Cannons turn it over yet again. 18 giveaways now for Boston.
Waterdogs have got to capitalize on all these turnovers. Boston is gift wrapping a comeback here. Waterdogs have not been able to take advantage of it.
Very little offensive flow for Philly. Homecoming weekend for the Waterdogs. They'll play twice. They'll play again tomorrow.
Free hot dogs here on Father's Day. If you're a father.
Or your Russ DeLynn or statistician. Ethan Walker. And that'll be a shot clock reset. Kirst got a piece.
And they've got Drenner trapped on defense. McCardle will attack that matchup. They're gonna do it again right here in a 2-man game.
Sowers, McCardle, like clockwork.
It all starts with a 2-man game behind the cage, getting the trap Ryan Drenner involved, and then from there the Cannons are just in scramble mode defensively. Sowers is going to push this corner. You can see a little bit of confusion there in terms of, are we staying, are we switching? And Epples just ball watching.
52 and white. 52 and white. See, he's put in the conflict right there. He understands that things aren't looking good defensively, and the matchup's going to need help. And so he gets on his horse. The issue for the Cannons is he needs a second slide. He's got to be communicating with the next layer of defense, pulling the midfield defenders down to the crease, which would then free him up. Remember, defense, especially on the interior, is played in pairs.
Tucci wins yet another face-off. Now Connor Kirst.
What's so interesting, guys, about Tucci is that this is his first year playing with a face-off specific stick, and that usually relates to the head, whereas Zach Courier, he's just playing with a field stick.
I wonder what took Tucci so long to adopt a Fogo stick. Successful career at North Carolina, playing for Joe Bresci in the ACC.
Very successful. Matt Cavanaugh. Randall sets up the clear with help from Burns. Now Ward out of the cage. Caraway. Scarpello looking for help.
Just a late substitution for Waterdogs here.
A lot of valuable seconds ticked off. Trying to get the offense started with 20. He wasted about 32 seconds. McConvey over to McCardle. Apple all over him, using the pick. Short stick matchup now for McCardle with Trainer. Shot clock at 5, at 4, at 3. McCardle ran out of room, but does draw the flag. And now we get our first firework.
Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
A lot of explosives in this cocktail coming into today.
We got it. 43 white. Push.
6 purple with the slide.
Stop.
6 purple with the slide.
Yep.
They already doused this field in gasoline before we started. Didn't take much of a matchstick.
Three fouls on the play. 43 for Cannons, 30-second technical push. 41 for Cannons, 1 minute, unnecessary roughness. For the Waterdogs, number 6, 1 minute, unnecessary roughness. Immediate timeout.
And I think they got this right. This wasn't in sequential order. Trainer was the push, the initial push. McCardle did not take kindly to it. He then slashes Trainer in the leg, and then Young retaliates to that. All three are going to the penalty box when we come back. Oh, a little something
That's
extra.
what he didn't like.
Yeah.
That's what he didn't like. Trainer landed on his head and kind of punched him in the neck and the face.
Just happened, a little more than meets the eye on that last sequence, which resulted in 3 players getting flagged.
Yeah, at first it just looked like a harmless push. That, like, punch, cross check to the head.
The landing, exactly.
And then boom, that's also in the helmet, in the head. I mean, Trainer and Young, those fouls compared to McCardle's kind of slash in the leg.
Throw your flag, throw your hat. You see the elements of ice hockey and lacrosse kind of mesh right there in a scrum around the crease in the net. Bill Tierney just looking for explanations. I believe if they looked at the video, in my eyes, Trainer deserves more than he got.
Correct. It's a 30-second push. Meanwhile, he cross-checks McCardle in the head, and Young's just a 1 minute. That was also directly in the head.
Bad blood lingers from the championship series in February. When a few minutes into the game, the Cannons, on a cheap shot, took Michael Sowers out of the game, and it was a physical contest, that entire final of the championship series. Sowers, who has it now, came out and scored the first goal of the game. 5-on-4 for Philly.
Defense is in a box or a diamond formation.
2 ties it. Comes Sowers now from the high wing. Walker back to Sowers, feeding Kelly, save Kirst.
That's going to be the soft spot of that 4-man rotation. Again, it's a box or a diamond. Really good defense there, Ryan. I love the way they kept their leverage, their shape, and Kirst cleans it up.
9 saves now for Kirst in his 3rd season as a pro.
It's a big play in this game.
Kirst has been steady in a lot of these inside shots where you see some overreactions. He's kept his poise.
Pat Kavanaugh, that one bounces offline. Nolting digs it out. Nolting measures Randall.
Get up on him.
Lowers that left shoulder, spins back around, runs into an ambush.
It's a faster double team in the 3rd quarter. That's an adjustment that was made at halftime.
It's just a really heady double there by Scarpello, timing that rollback perfectly.
Nolting looking for Paris, found Provence instead with all the purple. Sowers orchestrating from X. They've got Gobrecht down there setting the pick. Sowers has Pat Kavanaugh. This is a dangerous matchup. Sowers to Walker, save, rebound, shot, score. Ryan Conrad makes it a 1-goal game. flag down. It'll be wiped off.
Here you're going to see the initial save, and then on the rebound, Conrad, right spot, right time. Off the deflection, that actually didn't even get to Curse. It hit Young square in the chest.
Tell you, week one, Philadelphia was down 8-2 to the Archers, then down 12-4. They rallied late. It feels like they're playing with better energy right now compared to the first half. They've been a slow to wake type team so far this summer.
Yeah, they almost came back and won week one, lost 12-11 after trailing, like you said, by 8 well into the third quarter. 4 minutes to go, quarter number 3. Waterdogs jumped out to a 3-1 lead, and then it was a Cannons blitz. Boston took an 8-5 lead into halftime. A Hail Mary desperation heave that landed for faceoff man Zach Tucci right before halftime. Gave Boston 2. That's Connor Kirst. And it's 9-7.
What I love about Kirst, despite our criticism of the Boston wing personnel, they've got Kirst on one wing, and his ability to stay, whether they win or lose, unlocks his two-way ability, and he's just so physical. He's just going to run through this slide by Liam Burns. That stick is just not enough to stop Kirst. Super strong start to his season, his 3rd goal in as many games.
He played here at Villanova before transferring to Rutgers University. One of 3 brothers in the Pro League. Unbelievable. Cole, Connor, Colin. CJ's at Cornell. He'll be a senior next year. Caden is soon to be in college.
CJ might be the #1 pick next year. Tucci shovels it back to Fairman.
Connor Kirst was a face-off midfielder when he started his career at Villanova.
And remember, he took some
an
face-offs in the
attackman at
indoor
Rutgers.
league.
Yeah.
Trenner, a little hesitation. Now Matt Campbell. Picked up by Courier. Knowlting looking for a cutting Trenner, and it slips. Did it slip in? No, it almost did.
Thought it hit the post and then hit Ward and then was kicking around.
Now, Ryan, I was with you. I thought that slipped in. Didn't you tell me you had a 2-pointer like that once?
I only had 2 in my career, 1 empty netter and 1 a feed from the crease that just went awry and just kind of dribbled in. Oh!
Taya Holman's got a little bit of a pipe thing going on. Last week he pegged the crossbar twice. That one just ricocheted off the corner.
And we're seeing more Pat Cavanaugh at attack, smoothing that transition. This is where you like to see him in the gray areas, quick restarts.
Here's Pat, bounce shot, score.
And that's why you do it. He tried to win the whistle and get it to Van Raphorst, was floating around 2, didn't get the quick restart. But while you're substituting, while it's kind of that gray 4-on-4, 5-on-5, there's just a lot of green and a lot of room for Cavanaugh to operate. Credit to him for getting upfield to increase his shooting angle.
Hudgens chooses to come underneath that pick set by Marcus Holman, and that just creates enough separation where Pat Cavanaugh, like an exclamation point, running straight upfield with that good speed. Tuarton, winner, 2-time national champion from Rockville Center, Long Island. Chaminade looks like he's got his legs now after an eventful end of May, to say the least.
Won his 2nd straight national championship with Notre Dame. Left the program as the best player in school history and their all-time leading scorer.
It was interesting talking to Coach Brian Holman about Pat Cavanaugh and his transition to the Pro League. Think about it, you saw him more comfortable in week 2, new locker room, adjustment to the pro level. Coach Holman said he kind of felt bad he threw him to the Sharks week 1 and probably should have sat him, but he was just so excited to have him in a Cannons uniform.
Yeah, Dana, think about the week he had, right?
Right.
National
No sleep.
championship, Tuarton Award ceremony, private jet to training camp.
That's not so bad.
A lot of caffeine.
Party like a rock star. And now he's finally playing his natural position. Think about that. Finally playing where he belongs.
Yeah, weird how that works out. But I like how the Cannons kind of smoothed that, understanding what he was going through physically and emotionally towards the end of his career at Notre Dame.
Sowers! Oh, right on the doorstep. Acrobatic catch and finish. It's 10-8.
Get a feeling this game is opening up. This is a great look. Sowers sensing the defensive rotation, gets on his horse,
And it's just
and works to the top side.
It's just beautiful ball movement here by Waterdogs. So you're going to eventually get this double team and pinball the ball around. Freeze it right here. This is where you're going to see this little 2-on-1. You got McCardle and Sowers. Here is the defender, Young, that's kind of trapped between those two guys. And Sowers just sneaks around the crease. Easy feed from McCardle, but beautiful identification. And Van Rappers, he was the defender that was late getting down that backside. You can see Ethan Brawl and Van Rappers trying to get there. Good identification by Sowers and McCardle, that 1-2 punch and attack.
The 1-2 punch has been the only punch for Philly today. Those two have accounted for 7 of the 8 goals in some way, either a goal or an assist on 7 of the 8 tallies. Richard, newly minted Marquette head coach. Hey, we're playing spin the rock and almost got it to within 1 with a minute to go in the third.
Last goal, a great example defensively, how you don't want to get spread out. Well, you want to stay anchored to the pipes and the crease area.
Oh, look at Sowers feeding the crease, finds McCardle. These two do it again. It's 10-9, jackpot.
Returning the favor here, you're gonna get Sowers with this underneath move. Freeze it right here, you're gonna get Apple. He's gonna slide across the field. The issue is nobody from this backside, none of these Cannons defenders get down the backside to get to McCardle, who's just sitting on that backside pipe. So you get the first slide by Apple, that little hedge and recovery, and Van Rappers is just late again in that second slide rotation.
Apple goes halfway, and that's a tough decision for a veteran defender. He's trying to read the play. The truth of the matter was, I didn't think Sowers had a sufficient angle there with his stick in his left hand to put pressure on the goal to get the slide. I don't think he wanted to go, but he went halfway, and that's a bad place to be.
3 of the last 4 Philly goals were either scored by Sowers or McCardle, and the other had the assist. One-goal game, chance to tie. Sowers from X. Sowers, McCardle, why not? Rinse, repeat, re-rack, we're tied at
10. If you go out and pressure him, he runs by you. So what do? You sit back and you just let him pick you apart. The Sowers to McCardle connection continues. The patience, no pressure, and McCardle just gets lost in the wash.
Communication inside is imperative. You've got to talk. You got to have your head on a swivel, a little bit of ball watching, and suddenly Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle are dominating.
He's got a third quarter hat trick, McCardle, and Sowers has got a goal and 3 assists, all 3 to McCardle.
Yeah, we said this at the end of the Denver-Utah game. Sometimes you can simplify. You found the calculus right now. You found the equation.
It's amazing how, though, sometimes that takes into the second half, into the third or fourth quarter for the defense, the body punches, that eventually your good stuff surfaces. A lot of times it's not there initially.
Can Philly take the lead? Courier over to Sowers. He's got a short stick matchup with Trainer. Game clock at 10. 7. 5. Sowers up top. Kelly lost it. Van Raphorst Does not put it on Cage. We go to the fourth quarter. All tied up at 10. That third quarter belonged to Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle.
An electric third quarter there, but yeah, they're two superstars. 7 and 6 points between the two of them. 7 of 12 shooting.
The rest of the team just 3 of 20 shooting.
That was a big point of emphasis coming out of the Cannons defensive huddle. They got to get their hands on McCardle and Sowers, but when you do, you got to account for the rest of the players on the team. And Coach Holman said, break this fourth quarter up into 2-minute chunks. 2 minutes at a time and chip away at 0-0 no matter where we are in the game.
Well, if I'm them, anybody but Sowers and McCardle, right? So if you're going to slide, don't slide from those two.
I thought it was interesting yesterday spending time with Coach Tierney at practice, and he talking about how these pro players have to kind of find solutions within a game, okay? The ebbs and flows strategically, like having answers. And the truly great players incorporate that into their game.
Here's Pat Cavanaugh, drawing a lot of attention. Gobrek comes to greet him. Campbell against Richard. Wheels down the alley, bounce shot, score. The former Villanova Wildcat puts the Cannons back on top.
And this is capitalizing on a defensive strategy by the Waterdogs to press out against Asher, Nolting, and X. And you see behind the net, Nolting, 32, is positioned. Randall is really cheating towards that passer, and that gives Campbell all sorts of real estate. Little twister finish there. Improves his angle.
But I think Hudgens kind of took the bait on that Cavanaugh, Matt Cavanaugh kind of clear through. That's what cleared up that whole space. So yes, Randall's pressing out, but I think if you're Hudgens, kind of slow play that cut a little bit.
Hudgens playing in his first pro game, rookie. Had his college career at Army and finished up at Ohio State. Nolting shot off the stick of Ward. Holman catches the rebound.
Ward never saw it.
Pat Cavanaugh with Courier playing mouse. Over to Holman. Ward saw that one all the way, went up high to get it. Only 6 saves for Dylan Ward.
He made that save look easy, and let me tell you, it wasn't. Holman got that ball out of the stick super fast.
I think he was playing the scout there a little bit with Holman, known for his high-to-high trajectories. But what's strange to the save thing is Kirst is leading in saves by a significant margin. They're also dominant at the face-off. They have 2 two-pointers, and we've got a 1-goal game. Like that doesn't track.
Sowers against Trainer.
This is a problem for the Cannons.
Sowers drawing attention. Conrad, not sure what that was. Was that a pass? Was that a shot?
Yeah, that was to McCardle. He thought he was going to be turning the corner there.
Week 3 of the PLL season continues tomorrow from Philadelphia. We pick up play at 12:30 Eastern right here on ABC. The Redwoods against the 3-0 New York Atlas. Jeff Teat and Connor Schellenberger along with Trevor Baptiste have the Atlas off to a great start. They're scoring at will. Teat averaging more than 7 points per game already. The early MVP favorite. Cavanaugh trying to maneuver, and Ward takes it away.
How about the work of Xander Dixon?
He's another one. This is a big ground ball. Waterdogs able to get it back.
Best nickname in the league, the Grim Reaper.
Slim Reaper.
Slim Reaper, tomorrow, 12:30 on ABC.
Left. Here we go. Open.
8.5 to go, fourth quarter.
You like that better than Captain America?
Bubba Fairman is looking for an outlet. Ooh, he's got Matt Cavanaugh. Slams on the break. Now cutting Goodrich. Shot save Ward. It'll stay with the Cannons. Holman closest to the ball, where and when it went out of bounds.
These guys are so good. The catch by Kavanaugh, the save by Ward. I mean, that's a brilliant save. It's a high to low shot that he kicks out with his right foot. There's so much going on here.
It's the highest level of lacrosse you'll see. Drenner goes to work on Witcher. Gets top side. But turned away.
Witcher's strong, 33 in purple. He is as good as it gets.
I've talked to midfielders off the record, like, okay, who's the toughest short stick? Witcher.
You see him, he looks like he's a middle distance runner. He's about 6'3", really wiry, super strong. The best player in York College history.
Great recovery there by Young.
Sowers and Kirst battling. Eppel vacuums the grounder. Slingshots it upfield to Holman. Look. Holman to Kirst. Steps into one. Ward the save. Now the Waterdogs counter. 11-10 Cannons. McCardle to Sowers. That's been the formula for Philly.
No numbers there, so Sowers wisely pushes it out.
McCardle had a cutting Conrad who couldn't catch it. Ball loose near the crease. Colin Kirst now.
That has got to frustrate Coach Tierney. You're playing up and down. You finally are able to catch your breath and you just jam one in the crease.
It's not going to go over well, is it?
Saved by Ward, who sits on it off the Verdaro shot. 6 of Ward's 11 saves have come in this fourth quarter.
Heating up, and he should with those black sweats. It's probably 190 degrees in that crease.
213 in the pants, maybe.
Both teams with 2 timeouts.
McConvey. Former midfielder of the year at Virginia. And a 60-goal scorer at Vermont. Kelly guarded by Rawl. He really impressed as a rookie a season ago. Another errant pass. Boston's done a nice job taking away that crease feed for most of the afternoon. Basically, anytime it's been something besides McCardle and Sowers in the two-man game.
Yeah, I want to give a little credit to Van Rapport on that knockdown. I think that would have actually gotten through had he not made contact. But Cannons just gift-wrapped the ball right back to Waterdogs.
23 turnovers for Boston.
And this is the right play by Sowers. I've got to have the ball in this key moment.
Shakes against Bryce Young. Now Trainer picks him up. Slide's going to come, right? Here's Conrad. Kirst knocks it down, keeps it out of the cage.
That was an incredible save by Kirst because it was actually the wrong read, Quint. He went like it was going to go high and then had to get his top hand all the way down near his ankles.
15 saves for Colin Kirst. 2 sets of brothers for Boston. Colin and Connor Kirst, Matt and Pat Kavanaugh. There's Matt Campbell. Ryland Reese matching feet. Now Pat Kavanaugh against Burns. Kavanaugh wheels down the alley. Serpents behind the cage. Kavanaugh trying to turn the corner. Inside roll not there. He dumps it back to Holman. Shot clock at 7. Holman driving on Richard. Shoots. Saved. Ward. Hudgens off the ricochet. A dozen saves for Ward. Here comes Hudgens, pro debut, back to Burns.
It's a good play by Hudgens. It's a strong run out and ground ball play. He had the sense to throw it back to the trailer. Nothing's there, so you call a timeout. Really well played by the rookie.
Timeout, Bill Tierney. Philly down by 1. The legendary head coach looking for his first PLL win. We got a chance to listen to Jake Caraway. Dana, what does Philly plan to do here?
They want to isolate Bryce Young and get Sowers the ball behind. It's the play that they call Halo. They like that matchup. They like their guy Sowers behind with the shifty feet.
There it is. He's got Bryce Young. Sowers trying to get top side. Young able to steer him out past the arc. McConvey now down the alley. Trainer altered that shot. Cursed out of the cage. And the backup to Boston. Philly crowd doesn't like it.
So much for the home cooking on the calls.
If this was football season, Matt Palin would be pelted with snowballs.
More batteries. No, batteries was baseball season. That was J.D. Drew. Matt Campbell over to Marcus Holman. Asher Knowlting. Big fella. See if he goes to the question mark. Cyclones back around. Holman got close.
It's a reset. That's a reset.
Ward got a piece.
Big.
The last 8 Boston shots on goal have been stopped by Dylan Ward.
You don't want to take your foot off the gas too much here.
Campbell had to step on Witcher. Down the alley, missed the cage.
Twister, the run out here is pretty close.
Crowd does not approve that time either. Campbell from X. Shot clock at 3, at 2. And that's a shot clock violation. 90 seconds to go. Waterdogs down 1.
Still got a timeout.
Philadelphia homecoming. They played 2 games this weekend. Tomorrow, they get the Whip Snakes on Father's Day. Philly looking for its first win of the season. They've played in the last 2 championship games. This was a 1. McCardle will dig it out with the reigning PLL Defender of the Year, Garrett Epple, on him. A timeout by Bill Tierney. Meanwhile, at the other end, Matt DeLuca has come in for Dylan Ward. So that is in case you don't get it here and you've got to press out.
They did that in week 1 and they're lost. It's a 10-man.
Right side, here we go.
Connor Kelly will begin the long dodge against Craig Chick, the former Lehigh Mountain Hawk. Now McCardle with the short stick, Fairman. McCardle looking for the cutting Sowers, and that's a late hit. They get Bryce Young again. He's pleading the case. Sowers was airborne. Courier and Young exchange words.
Courier needs to back off. His team's going to go up a man.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Cannons, number 41, 1 minute, unnecessary roughness.
3rd penalty of the game for Bryce Young.
The friction that both teams brought into this game.
Ball's out of play, and then he comes with that right shoulder. It's late, it's high, it's not a lacrosse play.
And he's got 16 career 2-point goals. We get a timeout from Brian Holman now.
And it's Caraway. Those are the two guys that I am on high alert from 2-point range. Anybody else, fine. I'll actually live with that, but I don't want to see those two uncork one.
Sowers will orchestrate. Ethan Walker dumps it to Caraway. Sowers from X. McCardle, no room for him. Rawl shading McCardle. Sowers over to Kelly. Now Walker, back to Kelly. Sowers, 15 to shoot.
Too passive.
Caraway, McCardle, shot blocked. 5 seconds. Kelly, Sowers, Conrad, tied it! Less than a second to go!
These fans are on their feet, they're going nuts. Another improbable goal in this game. How patient could they be, even testing Coach Tierney's blood pressure?
Beautiful rotations by Boston defensively, but eventually ball movement wins. You see the ball spinning, gets all the way to Sowers, and Conrad just cuts down that backside pipe, flashes his stick, presents a target, and the ball is in and out of his stick in the blink of an eye.
Sowers throws it to space. That spatial awareness to throw him open and give Conrad a lot of credit, Ryan. He started that cut almost at the top of the arc. It was a...
Yeah, he downplayed this. Just another game,
yeah,
right?
That's right, yeah.
After the Cannons knocked him out of the Champ Series. No Hail Mary for Tucci this time. Ward back in goal. We go to overtime. Game 1 of 4 here on the campus of Villanova University.
That man right there, Bill Tierney, made his mark. Not that man, that man. Winning overtime games in college.
He's got the blueprint. He patented winning championship games in extra time. But I gotta ask you,
here's
Ryan,
what he's not used to. No timeouts.
Nope.
No timeouts, Quint. You can't win the ball. And
And Courier.
Early!
Tucci's got 3 points. Clean exit. Tucci turbos ahead. Fires and goal! Zach Tucci wins it for Boston.